Welcome to Sober Bliss with me, Gail. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that comes up quite a lot when I talk to people on my program or in the Sober Hour, and that is the issue of, moderation versus sobriety. And a lot of people have trouble with this. They are probably stuck at the moment in the moderation kind of phase, and in theory moderation is a good idea. However, and somebody said this on Instagram the other day, moderation to them is a bit like a unicorn, and that means it's a beautiful concept, but it doesn't really exist. It certainly didn't exist for me. I liked the idea of it, but I just couldn't do it. So if you're watching this and wondering, what's the best route, moderation or sobriety, actually if you're wondering this and you're trying moderation, then you probably realize that it's not for you. On the other hand, sobriety or full abstinence might seem a bit scary. It might seem too huge to contemplate. So I just want to talk about both of those things today. For me, sobriety is definitely the way to go. I never could moderate, and I can never see myself going back to drinking and moderately drinking again, ever. So that was my path, and I'm much happier on that path. And these are some of the reasons why, and hopefully you can relate to them. So when you're moderating, you're kind of being good for a certain number of days. You might not drink during the week, so that you can allow yourself to drink at the weekend. And this kind of being good or abstaining during the week is a problem because you're still seeing alcohol as that reward. Come Friday night, your reward for being good is having a glass of wine, and that kind of makes the cycle even harder because you're forever thinking about that reward, that glass of wine at the weekend or a Friday night. So it's always on your mind. You're kind of punishing yourself during the week in order to be able to reward yourself at the weekend with the glass of wine. So you always have alcohol, up there. It's held in high esteem. It's your treat, your reward. And the problem with that is that it makes the idea of sobriety seem really hard. And you connect sobriety with, being at work, going to bed early, just being boring, really. And you still connect alcohol with having fun, letting loose, letting your hair down at the weekend. And that's the problem when you think about sobriety, because you automatically associate it to the boring stuff. And that's not the case. And another problem with moderating is that, well, apart from rewarding yourself with the thing that you're trying not to drink, that's a kind of a paradox. The other problem with moderation is that you have all of these rules that you need to stick to. So your rules might be, I won't drink Monday to Thursday, or your rules might be I'll only drink when I go out, or I'll only have wine, or I'll only have one glass. And then if you don't manage to stick to those rules, then you feel bad about yourself. And that makes it worse. And you're kind of treating it like if you're on a strict diet also. And what I found with moderation is that I was just thinking about alcohol all the time. Monday morning, right, okay, I'm not going to drink today. And then, okay, I've got through Monday, I've only got 4 days left, and then I can have a drink. And that just made it constant, and it was exhausting to try and stick to all of those rules all the time. Whereas sobriety means that there are no rules. You don't have to restrict yourself, you don't have to force yourself. You're free to do whatever it is that you want to do whenever you want to do. Another problem with moderation is that if you kind of moderate during the week and then you drink at the weekends, then you never get to experience the good stuff about being sober. You know, you never get to go to a party sober, you never get to maybe go on a holiday sober, you never get to appreciate that you can have fun and enjoy yourself without alcohol. And it's as if you're doing the beginning stages of sobriety all the time, every week. It is hard, especially in the beginning. You know, those first 2-3 weeks are challenging, especially where, you know, we live in a culture where alcohol is revered, and if you don't drink, then you're seen as a bit weird. So if you're moderating during the week, for example, then you're going through the beginning stages of sobriety again and again and again, and you never get to the good bits at the end of it all. So that is another problem with moderation, is that, you know, you never get off that hamster wheel. Sobriety, however, means that you're free from all of that. And like I said before, yeah, it is challenging, especially in the beginning. But the longer you stick at it, the more commitment you give to it, then the easier it becomes. I promise you, I've been sober now for just over a year. And thinking back, I would have thought, my God, I'll never do it. It's going to be so difficult. But because I stuck with it, then I realised that the more firsts you have, the more situations you get through, the easier it does become. And the stronger you feel, you know, you feel like you can do anything after you've done a party sober, or a wedding, or a funeral, or, you know, you've had a bad day and you've got through it sober. All of that experience will really make you feel so much stronger. And I suppose I'd just like to sum up by saying that for me, moderation is a set of rules and restrictions. It's exhausting. You're always thinking about drinking, you know, all the time. It's just there in your mind. It's full of negativity as well. Like I said before, if you don't manage to stick to your rules, then you put yourself down, you beat yourself up. And it also makes you think that you will never be able to do sobriety. Whereas sobriety, on the other hand, it might be challenging at the beginning, but for me it's just peace of mind, it's freedom, it's clarity, and it's just escape from that cycle that you've been stuck in for so long. So I would say that don't think, you know, I'm going to stop drinking forever, because that's really scary also. Maybe give yourself a time scale. Yogic technology says that you need 42 days to reform a new habit, to make a new habit, you know, brain patterns. So give yourself that kind of time scale, you know, 30 days, 2 months, 6 weeks, whatever, and stick to it. Commit to that. And then at the end, you can go back and you can reframe, and you can, you know, think about it and decide where you go from there. And don't think of it as a life sentence. Think of it as an experiment. Think of it as a learning experience. But most of all, think of it as an escape from the rules and the restrictions. Think of it as a positive lifestyle change. So yeah, basically that's it. Moderation, exhausting, painful, a nightmare. Sobriety is a liberating, and it's freedom, and it's joy and happiness. I hope that kind of put things into perspective for you, to weigh up, you know, the pros and cons of both paths. If you need any help deciding, or if you're just stuck, then reach out to me in the Sober Hour. You can find the information below. And also check out the Sober Bliss blog and website, where there's lots of information about all things sober lifestyle on there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.